Well, hello everyone. My name is Brent. I'm a trainer on the Chromebook team. And whether you consider yourself a tech novice or a Chromebook ninja, I want to thank you for joining me on this brief overview of Chromebooks and the great partnership with HP. So let's jump right in, shall we? Today on the menu, we are going to discuss the pillars of Chromebook. We're also going to empower the sale with the Google Assistant. We're going to talk accessories and works with Chromebook. We're going to dive into Microsoft 365 apps, how to use them online, and more. And finally, we're going to take a look at Premium Chromebook and what that means in 2020. So let's dive in, shall we? But first, I want to ask you a question. What's your experience of a traditional laptop? And by that, I mean, what do you normally use your laptop for? What activities do you perform? What software or programs do you use on the day-to-day basis? And now, when you have that in your head, put yourself in the shoes of a customer today. It may not be the same as it was 6 months ago, but today, use cases are much different. You see a wide variety of people needing to work remotely, whether it be kids, parents, grandparents. We're connecting more, as you know. So what they may need is something lightweight and nimble to get online and get work done when they need it. So are they just going to come in and ask about specs, or do you think they're going to ask for something to help them get the job done when they need it done? And that's why I want to talk about the definition of Chrome OS. So what is Chrome OS? I'll just read this out loud. Chrome OS is a lightweight operating system designed for modern working. You see, by pushing the core tasks to run on the web, Chromebooks require less processing power and don't have to rely as much on natively run software. And Chrome OS was essentially built back in 2011 with the goal to make web applications more powerful than desktop applications. And that's important to note because traditionally, back when computers were first invented 30, 40 years ago, it was all natively run software, and very little of that was done online. So fast forward to today, and Google is like, wait a second, if most of our users are opening their laptops to get online and they want it in a fast, efficient way, why not remake an operating system that focuses on that? And hence, Chrome OS was born. All right, now, when it comes to the core pillars of Chromebook, back when Sundar Pichai, who's now the CEO of everything Google known as Alphabet, when he was the head of Chrome, he said, I want 3 things that every Chromebook should have. And those 3 things are speed, simplicity, and security. So let's jump into those. Speed. You see, Chromebooks are built to start fast. They boot in seconds, and with Chrome OS, they'll stay fast, so they always feel like new. Simplicity. Well, Chromebooks store everything in the cloud so you can access your content wherever you are and across your other devices by simply signing in with a Google account, or Gmail account as some customers like to call it. And finally, my personal favorite, security. Chromebooks come with virus protection built in and keep you secure with automatic system and security updates when connected online. Now let's talk about the complicated setup of a Chromebook. Just joking. All you need is a Chromebook, a Google account, and Wi-Fi. That's it. From the time it takes to unbox a Chromebook to set it up, it's about 5 minutes or so, and you're off to the races. Speaking of races, we have this fun game to the right that you can try in store with a customer, and it's called the shoe tie race. What do you think takes longer? Booting up a Chromebook or tying your shoelaces? I challenge you to try this with a customer in store. Have the customer look at an HP Chromebook and press the power button. As soon as they start to turn it on, see if you can tie your shoelaces faster than it takes to boot up a Chromebook, which takes less than 10 seconds. And it's super simple to get started. One way to show the simplicity and use case of a Chromebook is this upcoming video we have. Now, it's an oldie but a goodie, but I swear by these videos, they do a great job of showcasing the simplicity of Chrome OS.
With a Chromebook, you can always pick up right where you left off. Logging into your computer automatically logs you into all your Google services, like Gmail, Calendar, and Docs. Chrome also keeps your settings in sync between your Chromebook and all of your computers running the Chrome web browser. So whether you're at work or at home, all your bookmarks, extensions, and apps will be right there. There's also a guest mode so your friends can browse the web without signing in. But don't worry, they won't be able to access your email and other data. And when your friends are done, All their browsing information is automatically cleared. And even if you lose your Chromebook, it's easy to get back on your feet. Your documents, photos, and settings are always stored safely online. You can log into a new device or even borrow a friend's, and everything is just the way you left it. So no matter what happens to your Chromebook, your data will be safe and sound.
Isn't that awesome knowing how simple a Chromebook is and you can pick up right where you left off if needed? And not only that, but Chromebooks are extremely secure. So Chromebooks are designed from the ground up to be safe and secure. You see, they use a principle called defense in depth to provide multiple layers of security so that if one is bypassed, others are still in effect. So while it's important, like everywhere, to take precautions to protect your data, Chromebooks let you breathe just a little bit easier, knowing that you're safe while out there on the web. And let's be honest, bad guys and cyber criminals are empowered right now with everyone working from home and the increased online presence of everyone. So we have to be a little more careful than usual. And let's see that in these 4 features that are built in with virus protection. So number 1 is automatic updates, 2 is verified boot, 3 sandboxing, and 4 data encryption, which we'll talk about in this video.
On your Chromebook, each website and web application you open runs as a separate and independent process in a restricted environment called the sandbox. Sandboxing is a feature built right into the operating system to enhance security. Here's how it works. Let's say you open 3 different websites in 3 different tabs. Sandboxing keeps each website isolated from the others. So, if you open a website that's been infected by malware, they can't affect the other tabs in your browser or anything else in your machine. The threat is contained in one tab, and even if that tab crashes, the other tabs will continue to run normally. Every time you boot your Chromebook, it does a self-check called verified boot. If it detects that your OS has been tampered with or corrupted, the OS will be restored automatically from a known good backup. And if a backup is unavailable, you can download one yourself from the cloud. Your Chromebook will be as good as new as if nothing happened. And what's really great? Your Chromebook does everything on its own, with its built-in security features, keeping you and your data safe. So you can breathe just a little bit easier when you're out there on the web.
Awesome. Now, just how you saw in that video, automatic updates keep everything current and safe. And updates happen automatically with minimal, if any, effort from the user. Let's talk about that a little bit. Now, we all know that the most effective way to protect against malware is to ensure that all software is up to date and has the latest security fixes. Now, this can be difficult to manage on some operating systems with the many software components from many vendors, all with different update mechanisms and user interfaces. Now, Chromebooks, however, manage updates a little differently because they happen automatically, so they are always running the latest and most secure version. You see, instead of it being, twice a year or once a month for security patches, this happens every 6 weeks. And with those 6-week updates, you get feature updates, which are really rich in conjunction with those security updates. If anything were to happen with a security breach, Chrome OS is nimble enough to push out an update within 24 to 48 hours. And remember, just like the video said, if something were to happen to that operating system during the boot up phase, they can wipe it out and get the one that's in the latest partition. So it's a very sophisticated security set, and we're going to dive into that a little more. With verified boot, like we were talking about, the first line of defense. Just to recap that they said in the video, every time a Chromebook starts up, it does a verified boot, right? Now, you cannot boot a corrupted version of the OS. And since there are 2 copies on every device at all times, having 2 versions of the OS serves 2 purposes. 1, let's say the OS becomes corrupted through the verified boot process. It can switch to the other version that has not been tampered with. And also, that dormant version of the operating system can be automatically updated in the background on its own without any interruption to the device. Now, when it comes to my favorite thing is sandboxing. So the Chrome browser has long used sandboxes, as you saw in the video very eloquently with the scary little, crazy virus guys. They use sandboxing to contain threats within browser tabs, Chrome apps, and the overall Chrome browser process. However, a newer feature is that Chromebooks take this a step further, ensuring that all Android, Linux, and OS processes are kept separate and contained from each other. And another fun thing is that a recently introduced site isolation takes this notion and provides additional protection, making it even harder for untrustworthy websites to access or steal information from your accounts on other sites. And finally, another safe feature that Chromebooks have is a Google Safe browsing. Now, this warns users of unsafe sites before they've even reached them, meaning sandboxing is often nothing more than a precaution. And finally, data encryption. You see, while Chromebooks automatically store your data safely in the cloud, there are some files that need to be stored locally on your device, like downloads, cookies, and your browser cache, to name a few. So, in order to protect this information, Chromebooks encrypt your personal data using a tamper resistant hardware or a TPM chip, making intrusion difficult. And data encryption is enabled by default on every Chrome device and cannot be disabled. Now, that's really important when we talk about the customers and who may gravitate towards Chromebooks. And we've highlighted three customer types who we think would love Chromebooks. And they are families who would love sharing a Chromebook. Productivity users will be using their Chromebook for work or study, and basic browsers like to do just that, use their Chromebooks for surfing the web. So what activities do you think these customers would use their Chromebooks for? Well, families would definitely like to share. So let's say we want a device that the kids can work and play on. All right, well, let's see what kind of features we can talk about with families. Well, number one is the fact that Google Apps are built in for free. You see, parents wish that their kids could just work and make use of all the Google apps and enjoy the entertainment of YouTube, let's say, and everyone in the family can set up and use their own Google account, making switching between members easy, and they have their own Chromebook space. And all of the family can enjoy available apps in the Google Play Store, from games and entertainment to design and being creative. You can even share apps between family members. So one thing I do want to point out here is Google Family Link, which allows you to set digital ground rules for your children. You see, it gives, I like to call it, it's like a Google account, but with training wheels for your children and teenagers. It allows you as a parent to decide which apps they can install, how much time they spend on their Chromebook. And finally, the Google Play Store. Like I said before, there's millions of applications that are very popular with kids and everyone can share with a family account. So if you purchase a game for one child and they're on the same family plan, that purchase can go over to the other child's account as well. And here's just a quick little visual I wanted to show you about how each user can be logged in separately, and it has a 128-bit encryption level per user. So you can log in, log out, and sharing is very easy without having to worry about your pesky brother, sister trying to get into your system. You can actually have, it says here, an unlimited amount of user accounts, but I've seen up to 18 or 19 users logging in on a Chromebook. So it's a pretty cool idea. All right, moving on. The productivity user. So she wants a Chromebook for her essays and assignments, and I need my work safely backed up because I've lost work in the past, right? Awesome. So let's talk about the features that she may like. Chromebooks have a suite of Google apps all ready to go. And once you create and start working in a document like you saw in that video, there's no need to save your work. Saving happens automatically, and previous versions are accessible too if you need to go back a step. And all documents are stored safely in Google Drive, which is secured by your Google account. Now, that's been the case since Chromebook's inception, but something new I want to show you as of 2 updates ago is virtual desks. So productivity users, they want to multitask, right? So you can now multitask seamlessly with the new virtual desk update. And let me show you what that looks like. So right now, I'm presenting in my Google slide presentation, right? If I were to swipe up with 3 fingers, you can see I have virtual desks here. So I have my demo mode, I have the presentation right now, then I have one that I can rename to HP Funsky, right? And then I can add a new desk. And then I can extend these desks to different monitors if I want to. I can mirror or I can turn them vertically. It's a really fun option to have. So definitely keep your eye out for that when you play around these Chromebooks in store. And finally, the basic browser. He wants to use his laptop mostly online, and he says, I want something that's fast, easy to use, and helps me stay connected with my family. Well, We can say that it starts fast and stays fast and comes pre-installed with apps such as Gmail, but look at what we've already seen in the videos and how Chromebooks are primarily built from the ground up with a basic browser in mind. Not only that, but you have Android apps at the ready. So if you wanted to install Google Duo or Zoom or Microsoft Teams, you can do that to connect with friends and family over video chat. You can see that the Chromebook keys are even geared towards basic browsers. So first is the launcher key, this one on the left right here. And what this is, it looks like a magnifying glass, right? Because it has all of Google at your fingertips. Now they've replaced the most annoying button in the world to me, sorry to say, which is the caps lock key. You can still get it back in settings if you want to. But when you press that button, it launches your launcher, right? So this is your launcher down here. And you can see I have Zoom, Family Link, HP Smart Print already open. But when I launch the launcher, it allows me to search my device, apps, settings, and the web, which is pretty cool, all from one thing. So I can just search everything right there, which is nice. Secondly is the refresh button. So the refresh button is, well, just that. There's a refresh key in your web browser. This is a physical button. So if you really want to see if you can pre-order that PS5, you have that option now by refreshing and refreshing that button. Immersive mode, that's what I'm doing right now. When I click that immersive mode, it takes me out of presentation mode. You can see my shelf down here with all my different icons. When I go back to immersive mode, it brings everything into its full screen glory. So let me present this back out. We also have overview mode, which is very similar to me swiping back and forth, and I can see all of my desks that are open. I have the different windows that I can see and applications. So it's also pretty nice. And then there's, on select Chromebooks, the Google Assistant button, which allows you to have your own personal Google right at your fingertips. But for most Chromebooks, you just have to press the launcher key and the A button, and that will launch your Google Assistant. Google Assistant on Chromebooks, you say? Yes, Brent, it's here and it's awesome. So, what can it do on a Chromebook? Well, you can control your home, manage tasks, get answers, and enjoy entertainment. Basically, it's the same Google Assistant, except you may use it slightly differently. For example, you would ask the Google Assistant on a Chromebook to send an email rather than a text. You see, we're always looking for more simple ways to do things and faster, especially when it comes to tech. We tend to spend too much time staring at screens nowadays, and when we could be spending time with our loved ones. Sorry, that's enough sap right now, but if you think about it, right now, in 2020, 50% of all searches are done by voice. And once you begin to use the Google Assistant, going back to doing things manually seems like hard work. So a couple of things you can do here that I really like to show off is how you can do more with the Google Assistant, saying, hey, create a new document, right? And then it'll open up a Google Doc for you, which is pretty sweet. One thing I use all the time today is controlling my home. Specifically when I'm in the middle of a meeting and I don't want to be rude and shout out to my Google Assistant speaker, hey, turn down the temperature or brighten the living room lights. So it's a very handy feature to have on a Chromebook in today's remote working environment. So one thing I would like to point out is with an Android device and your Chromebook, you have the best of both worlds and they work synergistically together. So you can get online anywhere with instant tethering. You can sign in quickly using your biometric unlock mechanism on your phone. So basically face unlock on your phone or using your fingerprint scanner. You have one less charger. So you have USB-C to your phone, USB-C to your Chromebooks. It's awesome. And finally, click to call. If you find a restaurant on a Google search page or on their own website and you click it, it'll say, hey, do you want to send this to your Pixel 4? You say, yes, please. And if I can jump out of this real quick, you'll see I have messages right here. I can send my messages for the web. And I'll show you what this looks like in settings so you have a better idea. I open up my settings and now I have connected devices. You see my Google Pixel 4 Android device is connected. It gives me Smart Lock where I can unlock my Chromebook with my phone. Instant Tethering where I can connect to internet through your phone if I'm out and about without me having to turn on hotspot. It'll happen for me. So if I may, I'd love to give you a quick tour of the Google Play Store on Chromebooks and what makes it pop. So first off, it does bring the best of Android to Chrome OS. You can share moments with, Instagram or Twitter. You can be entertained and watch movies and TV shows like Netflix, and you can rock out with YouTube music. Fun fact, if you have your own collection of MP3 files on your current PC or whatever it may be on CD drives, you can upload almost 100,000 of them for free to your Google account via YouTube Music, which is pretty sweet. Let me actually show you what the Google Play Store looks like now, because it's come a long way since its inception on Chrome OS a few years back. These aren't just phone apps. These are apps that have been optimized for Chromebooks. There's productivity apps for Chromebooks, entertainment apps for Chromebooks. You know, a lot of people ask, can you use Chromebooks offline? Well, of course you can. And not only that, but if you were to download certain content, like for example, this is HBO Max, right? The new hit application by HBO. See how you can download the top titles to watch offline anytime? You can do this on a Chromebook thanks to the Google Play application. You also have the same ability with Netflix, YouTube Premium, and a lot of music applications like Spotify and YouTube Music as well. Now, one more thing I will say, if you want to be creative, there's great video editing apps, photo editing apps, all within here, and they're featured on the demo mode within the Chromebooks in store, which I'll touch on in just a second. But you can also do Google Play Books, which is amazing. And one of my favorites that was recently featured is games, okay? So if you want to go to games, there's a few categories I want to call out. One is for kids, okay? And everything here is teacher approved, which is important, and they're categorized by age. And another one is premium. So recently, there's been a large jump, maybe it's because everyone's at home, but there's been a large jump of people playing games on Chromebooks. Their time has almost doubled. So they've picked the games that play well on Chromebooks and featured them all right here. Keep in mind, Google Play applications aren't the only games you can play on Chromebooks. You can play Stadia, AAA games. You can stream them over the cloud. You can play GeoForce Now. I believe that Xbox's streaming service also works on here as well. So it's just, the world is your oyster when it comes to games and Chromebooks. I personally game on Stadia. I love it. I game on my Chromebook or on my Chromecast. It's a great time to be alive in the world of gaming. And I hardly game. I'm not a gamer. I barely pew pew, but it's fun, and I highly suggest you check it out. Another area in Chromebook computing that has made great progress just this past year is peripherals on Chromebooks. So you can find accessories now that work seamlessly with your Chromebook. Just look for the Works with Chromebook badge on products that are tested and proven to meet Chromebook compatibility standards. And those range anywhere from power, printers, cables, keyboards, docks and hubs, and mice. So of course, printers, I have to say, when it comes to HP printers and Chromebooks, I've been in field for quite some time, and never has it been an easier printer to connect to than an HP printer. It's super simple. And now with, I don't know if you've heard this or not, but sadly enough, the thing that pioneered it all on printing at Chromebooks, the Google Cloud Print, is sunsetting soon. And it's only going to be available to print via Wi-Fi and over a USB connection. But I'll show you what that looks like. So when you go to your search settings now, you just type in print, and it's a little more rich feedback. You see printing, print jobs, printing, add printers, save printers. So you can see right now that I have my trusty HP OfficeJet Pro 6970 active, right? So I'm just going to save this. It detects it on my Wi-Fi, and that's what I want. I'll click save, and there you go. Added HP OfficeJet Pro 6970. Now, assuming I have HP Instant Ink, which I do, I'm good to go. Now, the thing I really like about printing on Chromebooks with the HP printer is how user-friendly it is. So I can print anytime I want to, but if I really want to, I can get a little more in-depth. Some things that it's a little trickier to do on some other printers is scan, right? So here's my HP Smart app, and you see that my ink is running. Don't worry, I have a box in my closet. I'll fix this in a second. I have a box of HP Instant Ink in my closet. But one thing I do want to show you is that you can scan. And this makes it super easy to scan directly from your printer using the documents on my Chromebook, which was a little trickier before. So thank you, HP, for this beautiful Google Play application that runs flawlessly on my Chromebook. I love it. Thank you. And we've done multiple tests where even just plugging in a USB type A to B cable from your printer to the Chromebook connects seamlessly. I don't know if you can hear my voice, and I'm not just trying to placate to the audience here. I'm a huge fan of HP printers on Chromebooks. I've been recommending them for years. They're the go-to. HP and Chromebook, friends forever. Now, if you would happen to recommend another item aside from a printer, Bluetooth items work great, Chromecast, speakers, external monitors, sleeves. And some customers may think that attaching a Bluetooth accessory is hard, but it's actually pretty simple. And cables, you just plug them right in. Here's a fun little video to break it up and show you how easy it is. All right, doing good. So now let's talk about Microsoft 365 on Chromebooks. And then one question we always get is, does Microsoft 365 work on Chromebook? Absolutely. So there are a few ways to do it, right? There's Office Editing, Google Play Apps, and Microsoft Online. Now, each one has their own merit and their own use case. What I want to briefly say about each one is with Office Editing, you can use the full functionality of docs, sheets, and slides when editing a Microsoft Office file. With Microsoft Online, you can work in a familiar environment using the free online app. And with the Google Play apps, you can download the Microsoft Office apps from the Google Play Store. So let's just quickly watch a video on the Office Editing from Google Drive.
Drive supports over 100 different file types, including Microsoft Office files. For instance, you can comment on Word documents directly in Drive Preview. And with Office Native Editing, you can even edit and collaborate on Office files without converting formats. Drive also features real-time presence for native Office files in the Drive desktop app, making sure that multiple users can edit the same file without worrying about version collisions while working. With Microsoft interoperability, Drive empowers you to collaborate with others, no matter the file type.
So when it comes to getting the Google Play applications, let me show you a couple of things that you can do here. So within your launcher, once you install the Google Play apps, you can install the Office application. See how I have a folder here in my launcher? I have all of my work files here. I have Office, Google Play applications, I have Word Online and Excel Online, and let's kind of jump into which one you would want and why. So within my virtual desks, I have Office Online right here, and I have a sample resume and a sample Excel file to kind of give you an idea of what you can expect. So the Google Play apps. With a Microsoft 365 subscription, customers can open, create, and edit Office documents in their original format. For offline editing, customers should use the Office apps from the Google Play Store. With 1 terabyte of storage in OneDrive, they have more than enough storage for their Word, Excel, and PowerPoint files. Secondly, with Microsoft 365 Online, it's a familiar workspace, but online. So Microsoft has created 365 Online to allow customers to open, create, and edit files in Microsoft Office Online for free. Files stay in their original format and will back up automatically to OneDrive as you type. You can collaborate with your colleagues in real time to complete group projects, and you can download your files to your hard drive and share via email or USB. Now, the important thing to note here is that it's a familiar landscape on a Chromebook, and the two things I will say, when I go to my virtual desk, you can use Office Online for a very familiar interface, and you can use the Google Play applications to use online, offline. It really depends on your personal preference. Cool? Cool. And just as you would expect, there are a couple of different types of subscriptions that a customer can use with Office on a Chromebook. There's personal and family, and no matter which subscription a customer gets, they all allow a customer to have a native Microsoft Office experience on a Chromebook. Okay, great. You have all this information, but how do you show this to a customer in store? Because you may not have a Chromebook ready to go in your store that's live and signed into your own account. So luckily, the updated demo mode does a great job of answering some of Chromebook's most common questions. Like, what is a Chromebook? Is a Chromebook easy to set up? Can I use it offline? Is it secure? And how do I get started? What kind of apps can I use? And how do updates work? Well, luckily, we've answered most of those questions on this video already, but now there's some tools for you to use in store, and that's with the demo mode. So once you launch into this demo mode, it looks a little something like this. So it's broken out into 3 easy sections: work, play, and learn a little more. So remember those 3 customer types we talked about before? The family, the basic browser, and the productivity user? There's something in there for everyone. So if I were to click on the first one, work, study, and get more done on Chromebooks, I love to walk a customer through here, right? And I say, look, with the speed and simplicity of a Chromebook, you can log right in and security is taken care of because it updates automatically. You can always find your files faster. You just quickly search on the launcher, and you can search with the Google Assistant. You can find your budget right here, and it searches your Excel files, your files that are already native to the operating system. And when you open it, you can use it with an internet connection or without an internet connection. So if you want to tweak your personal budget on the go, you can do that. And it works with Excel, Word, PowerPoint, any application you really want to use, you can do that. Great. And then if we want to talk about being a multitasking marvel, whether it's streaming for entertainment, heck, even basic browsers, they like to be multitasking marvels from time to time. So you can have picture-in-picture viewing. So when you're watching YouTube or Netflix or anything that requires you to watch a video, if you tap out of it, it gives you picture-in-picture video viewing, which is pretty sweet. You also get the apps you know and love, like we talked about before in the Google Play Store. You can showcase that on these demo devices as well. You can open up the Google Play Store. But what I like to show most is how it highlights the automatic updates right here. It shows how you're updating device while you're shredding tires. Is that a phrase? While you're shredding tires in Asphalt 9. So I do really like how quick and easy it is to highlight some of the key benefits of Chrome OS within those first 2 features right there. And then, of course, you can jump into the Chromebook itself and open some of the demo apps like games and video editing and photo editing. And then if you want to get to know a little bit more about it, it shows how there's laptops, detachables, 2-in-1s. And I really do like how it shows the simplicity of switching. So not a lot of people know that you can just upload all of your content to your Google Drive account on your current laptop, and switching is a cinch. And of course, highlighting security by keeping all of your files safe and secure in the cloud. So with this new demo mode, I'm confident that you can walk a customer through the many benefits of Chrome OS on the demo Chromebooks, and I'm super excited to get that started. Now, when it comes to the next chapter, and that's premium Chromebooks, we are in a very interesting phase of the world right now, what with distribution centers being a little tricky and people working from home more. And I think one of the major problems we've seen in the past, and this is probably prevalent for a lot of people, is how do you get someone to buy a premium Chromebook? Because they may have the idea that Chromebooks are just web browsers, and the hardest thing to do is to graduate from a Chromebook. What do I mean by that? What I mean is that you may have someone who started back in 2011 as a 5th or 7th grader, and they were issued a school-wide Chromebook. Now, back then, and even today, most school boards may not have the funds necessary to purchase premium Chromebooks for each student. So you get some really nice entry-level EDU Chromebooks. But that may be the student's it may be their only idea of what a Chromebook is, and they've never seen the beautiful screens or how you can edit content like videos faster. And the example benefits for productivity users aren't that far off either. So you can see how with faster web browsing, productivity users can get more done faster, of course. And you can get immediate access to files, quickly check something while on their commute without a hitch. And they want to get work done quicker? Well, you can load Word documents up to 8 times faster on premium Chromebooks. And that's just one example. If someone says they waste so much time waiting for things to load on their laptops, with Intel Core processors, they can now, with the current batch is even faster. But to give you an example, surfing the web is 4 times faster. You get 8.2 times faster Word documents, edit videos up to 45% faster, which is what I'm going to do as soon as I'm done with this slide. I'm going to edit photos 42% faster. I'm going to load games 59% faster. So all of this is very useful. But when you look at this little breakdown, right, of entry-level Chromebooks versus high-end Chromebooks or premium Chromebooks. When you look at this list, which of these features here on the table do you really love about a Chromebook or your Chromebook? Are you really thankful for a backlit keyboard like I am? Are you excited about the premium materials like aluminum? I personally love a great screen with sharp resolution and punchy, vibrant colors found on the latest batch of Chromebooks. And one thing I will say is that if you look at some of the benchmarks, just real life cases that we were looking at earlier, compared to what it used to be on the lower end Chromebooks we'd always get from years and years ago, this is just a huge breath of fresh air to see so many amazing options on that end cap offered from HP. So in closing, I just want to say thank you. I'm sure I'm going to open it up for questions. And I hope this video is helpful. All right, have a great day.